Welcome everyone to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's pick a card reading is all about connecting wisdom from the natural and to some degree supernatural world to what your wildest and most cherished dreams are. So what sort of advice can we get from flowers, from winged creatures like these beautiful sort of dragon butterflies that are on the Enchanted Blossoms deck that we're using for the choice, from divine animal totems, from other flowers, and then eventually from other winged creatures like angels, which is how we're going to finish up this reading. But what can the wild and the supernatural tell us about your dreams, your ambitions, who you want to be in the world? This could be about love, it could be about career, it could be about creativity, it could be about who you want to manifest as. It could be any number of things. It could be a number of those all completely connected as well. But basically that's what we're going to be asking the wild world about today, for their guidance in various ways around how to identify and manifest those wildest and most cherished dreams. So as I say, we're using a number of decks at the beginning that have various wild energies, various natural energies to them, to get a bit of a picture of the energies around your wildest and most cherished dreams. And we're going to use tarot, using again an animal-based deck, to look at what the nature of the dreams are in more detail, to drill down into that, what you're not seeing, what opportunities there are for you. Then we're going to ground it in very 3D sort of stuff around your relationships, your career, your lifestyle, your spirituality, and then look at what the more supernatural elements, astrology, angel energy, that sort of thing, can give in terms of enlightenment to bring it all together. So as always, the important thing is to pick the right reading. You're more than welcome to go to more than one. You might have more than one cherished or wild natural dream in being sort of discussed in more than one of these readings, so that's completely up to you. But to help, hopefully, beyond those who know when they look at the numbers what reading they want, or who just meditate on the images, there are different aspects in these cards, and these cards will be part of the first part of the reading. There will be another from this deck and a number of other cards to give the sort of map of the natural and wild energy. But it might give you some sense about some of the energy. How it's going to manifest will depend on what else comes out in the reading. But for pile number 1, we have passion. For pile number 2, we have ambition. For pile number 3, we have love. And for pile number 4, we have abundance. And I intuitively pulled those out because I felt that they very much connect to the sort of energy of this reading, though I think all the cards in this deck really do in one way or another. So as always, once you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I have the timestamps in the description box below, and I can see you there. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. So as I said, we've got a couple of cards from the Enchanted Blossoms Oracle. We've got the Oracle of the Roses, we've got the Divine Animals Oracle, and we've also got a Wild Wisdom of Australia Oracle that I recently got, that as a proud Australian, a proud Aussie, I couldn't resist getting. So bringing these all together, what's really interesting, apart from anything else, is that we twice have happiness coming up. So dolphin energy, dolphins are meant to bring happiness, joy, that sense of freedom, liberation, being able to enjoy life. And the quokka for Australians animals is also about happiness and that sort of sense, particularly with pygmy possum here, around curiosity. There's a sense of fun around this, actually, and I think this is why we have the gambler coming up as well too. Not that you are necessarily someone who gambles too much or anything like that, but there is something a little bit wild about your wildest dreams. There is something very freedom oriented, and something about following your truth and your passion with confidence. And it's got something connected to I think music, or music is very much inspirational to you. If your dream is not about music in some way, if you aren't a musician or a singer or a songwriter or something like that, and I think a few people who come here will be with these sort of cards, then there's something about music that gives you the tempo and the rhythm to go forward with confidence towards what you're passionate about, and to take the risks and to be curious, because your core wildest dream is to be happy. And I think that is about being authentic. So it's not necessarily the energy here of someone who wants to be a star, though you may well, potentially, if you take music and creativity into the world. But that's because you love the music and the creativity, and it brings you joy, and therefore potentially brings joy to others. This is more the energy of someone who has said a life well lived is a life enjoyed. A life well lived is a life where I make my own rules for what I care about, and I go towards them with confidence. I'm prepared to take risks when I need to. I'm not going to be ridiculous about it. I'm going to have a good rhythm. I'm going to really have a sense of the flow of the world and what makes me and others happy. But I'm going to be curious. I'm not going to be held back in any way. So I think the wild world is saying to you that part of you that goes towards joy is the thing to follow. And it's a bit like that comment, that saying, follow your bliss. I'm not sure of the derivation of that, but I've heard it a number of times. And I think for some people that's probably not that helpful because it doesn't necessarily give a structure to anything. But for you, there is something here. You may, in fact, even do something with your career or with your creativity that is about bringing greater joy, bringing greater bliss to yourself and to others. And you definitely have the confidence to do it. I feel like many of you were talented in something from a very young age, and you've made that a passion. You've made that something that you want to use. But I feel with the gambler and with the curiosity here, with the pygmy possum, you don't just follow an established trend. So for instance, if you had been really good with music, I'll use this because music coming with, and songlines coming with Orca gives me that sense. If you were prodigious and kind of a little bit precocious with your capacity to play a piano, for instance, when you were young, it's like you learnt all the rules, you know how to do it, you can be confident, but now you're following your passion to almost do it differently. Like it's somebody who learnt to do classical music who moves into jazz music. And it doesn't have to be music, I'm just using it as an example. So I think that your wildest dream and your dearest and deepest passion, your cherished passion, is to find the way, endlessly curious, learning, expanding, taking risks, being confident, being out in the world, but it's about happiness. And honestly, that's about as well balanced as you can get. Like really, if we could all just go towards our happiness in some way, and if our life allowed us to do it, but I think you really have a talent that will let you do this, then I think that's where we are at our most cherished dreams. We often kind of sublimate that into career success or finding the one or whatever. You are very much, you could be happily in a relationship if you're happy, or you could be happily single if you're happy. It's all about what brings you joy. So I think that's a really lovely energy to start with. So let's have a look with tarot about what's going on in your life at the moment around your most wild, cherished dreams. And we'll just get a sort of sense of the nature of what's happening and what you're doing with that. Then we're going to have a look at what you might not be seeing at the moment, and also what opportunities might be presenting themselves to you to go towards this happiness. Okay, so what this firstly tells me is I think that many of you coming, I do think that you do have something precocious from youth, and I think that you do have innately within you a sense of what brings me joy is what I'm going to head towards. I mean, you may even have been a bit rebellious as a result of that. But I do think that some of this decision now, because it is like a decision to move forward with confidence and take the risks to go towards happiness, has come from feeling constrained. It really looks to me with these first few cards that for a period of time in your life, you felt maybe mentally constrained, like possibly there were rules and regulations. A bit like I sort of said, you know, if you learned classical music but you really want to be a jazz artist, it doesn't have to be that specifically, but it looks as though part of this determination that, you know what, I'm just going to be happy, came from feeling constrained by other people's rules, other people's ideas about what you should do, and even a kind of reluctance with the Seven of Wands reversed to break out of that. See, the gambling instinct and the curiosity and the confidence, it's come from feeling too constrained. It's like you're just over it, to be frank. Maybe many of you, as I say, had very brilliant talents when you were young, but you kind of put them to the side and you followed, you know, the conventional roles in career or academia or whatever, and you never really took the chance to see who you were and what you could be. And as such, your heart was never that connected to what you did. In fact, I suspect that many of you were very talented in general, and so there was something that was more conventional that you could just do and everybody approved of it and it was seen to be low risk, but you're over it. You're quite frankly over it. Something's come out, something you've learnt something about yourself, you've had an aha moment, or you may even have heard something, like you might have followed all the rules and done everything right, say in a career, and then somebody else gets a promotion because of nepotism or something like that. There's something that's really triggered this and made you go, you know what, I'm not with the right people. I want to be with the people who are right for me, the place that's right for me. I want to be looking at happiness. I want to look at something that's sustainable for joy as opposed to, and passion and creation, not as whatever this thing that was tying you up. So I think this liberation has been a little bit hard won, but I think underneath it, there is definitely a sense that you have the skill to do this, and you do know that you can be confident, but it's almost because of something that was not fair. It's the thing. It really is. It's a cry to the heavens. You're going like, I'm over that rubbish. I'm going after what will make me happy. So let's ask what you don't see at the moment, because of course, when you're sort of going through curious, bit of a gambling instinct, confident, it's really important not to get blindsided, because I don't think you were blindsided with this so much as you just kind of followed the conventional, whereas I think now you're moving into something that's more authentic to you. So let's just see what you need to see that you're perhaps not seeing at the moment. Okay, this is all about people around you, I think, because the Three of Wands is reversed and we've got the Four of Wands is what you're wanting to move into. This suggests that some of whatever has made you kind of throw everything up in the air and go, I'm going to go after happiness, has come from disappointment with people, with friendships, with colleagues, something like that. You thought you were on the fast track, or you thought you were being recognised, or whatever it was, but in actual fact there was maybe someone, a friend, a colleague, someone who was in competition with you but maybe didn't tell you they were in competition with you. There's something around that kind of energy, you know, or a business partner who is taking more than they should, or something along those lines. So that's triggered this in some way. But what you maybe don't see is there are also still some connections in whatever you're in that are worth keeping. Like you don't have to walk away from everything. There are some connections, particularly material connections, that are worth keeping that connection with and seeing them through, because they're likely to be more reciprocal. So, I mean, this has a feeling, as I say, like either in a workplace where you were passed over for a promotion, but within that workplace there is definitely still some good connections, some benefactors, and just stick it out, because once you really start showing who you are and what you want to do and going more for what would make you happy rather than, you know, what everybody sort of said was the next step, it's like that opens that energy up. Or it could be that you were in some form of creative industry and something has gone wrong, and you were doing everything that, you know, the industry pundits said to do now, and you now know some of the people you shouldn't have trusted, but there's still somebody, there's like a manager or there's a financial outcome that could still happen. So it's saying you don't have to walk away completely from whatever the situation was. It's almost your determination to now tilt towards what is happy and what you feel really confident in is the thing that will see it through. So let's sort of see what opportunities are coming up for you as a result of this. Wow, big opportunities. Okay, so big opportunities are coming, big changes are coming. There is something around a relationship that was very close here. So whether it was sort of very close colleagues and friends and you felt betrayed, whether it was you're moving away from what your family expected of you, whatever it might be, there's very big changes, and you are going to have it saying what will come along with it is some anxiety. That's why it's important to really take the confidence and the focus. But it is also important to remember that there are some things that are still salvageable in whatever this situation is. You don't have to take a complete risk. That's going to take you into a level of anxiety around the change that overwhelms you. By understanding that letting go of the things in the past that didn't work, but looking at what is still there, that way you can go through the tower energy with something at the end that you want and not so anxious. So there's a big change coming for you as a result of this sort of like cry to the heavens. And it could be ultimately leaving a workplace, but I wouldn't say doing that immediately. It could be shifting business relationships. It could be shifting a personal relationship. If the thing here was that you're in a personal relationship that seemed to tick all the boxes and your family approved of it and everybody was happy, but it really wasn't making a happy home and you knew that, then there's big changes, and that's the opportunity to free you from the anxiety and so forth. But there's just something, Spirit is saying, in the midst of all of this, there's something to keep. And it doesn't mean you have to stay in a relationship that didn't work for you, but it might be that there were connections and friendships to keep around that. Or it might be that you were working in a business partnership and that it's still worth keeping on with the business, but just in a different way that is now yours as opposed to shared. So the opportunity for change is wonderful, but it is coming with a bit of anxiety. Hence why it's great that you had that confidence and that sort of sense of, I'm going to be happy. At the end of this, whatever the cost, I'm going to be happy. Okay, so let's get a little bit more sort of 3D stuff. So I want to use the Heart Code Oracles to look at relationships, career, and then also lifestyle. And then we'll also have a look using the Star Temple Oracle around spiritual energy around you. So this is just to get a little bit more of a sense of what this might be doing as you move towards your happiness. Pile 1. Expectations, decision. Okay. I think this is the core of whatever this is. I think these cards are connecting. I think that there is still something in relationships around you, and this could be love relationships, family, work, whatever it may be, that when you work out what your expectations can realistically be, you can make the decision about what to move away from and what to keep in your life without the degree of anxiety. So work out what were your expectations? Were they reasonable for what you wanted and what you wanted to achieve? Was it reasonable for the other person? Where have people met expectations? Where haven't they? I just feel like in this situation there's at least one person or at least one sort of team in a workplace or whatever it is where expectations were met in the midst of maybe something else that was more disappointing. And that will help you make the decision so that you're not anxious about it. And if it's about a relationship, then it may be what were your expectations of the relationship, because there's something in the core of that about what you want from a relationship that you should hold on to. You didn't do anything wrong, even if this relationship has faltered. Going towards happiness and defining it by how you want your personal relationships to manifest is, again, going to help you make decisions. Okay, let's have a look at career. Leadership. Mindset. Okay, so you need a leadership mindset. So that's definitely telling me that you were meant to go up the ladder, or something maybe didn't happen. You're meant to do your own business, whatever it is. What will make you happy will be going into that leadership and having the right mindset to take that forward. This is why there's something in this pile 1 that is still worth taking, and it's very material. It's very much around the business thing. It's very much around career. Your vision for happiness is fantastic. And in fact, if you wanted to be in some business that was around the happiness of others, people learning who they were, all that kind of thing, you have a real leadership role. You can really shift the mindsets of people. So there's definitely something there about spreading the message of what you've found and what you've decided. So let's have a look at lifestyle. Suggestion, initiative. Okay, so I think this is picking up your leadership mindset. I think that you actually, because of the fact that you're going to tilt towards curiosity, happiness, doing what is true to yourself, you're actually going to be very suggestible to other people. People are going to look at this and see the mindset and want to follow it. They're wanting to follow your initiative. They're seeing it as something new and so forth. It does, though, say that you need to take more of an initiative and not be subject to suggestion. I think it's showing both levels. I think you have been to start and you've now decided, no, I'm moving forward. So you're doing exactly what you should be doing. But I think in the process of doing it, there's something about the way that you're going to live your life that will suggest others to take initiative. So I think there's a mentoring, coaching, leadership, inspirational energy to what you're doing. And going back to music, if there's something there, maybe there's something in music that you're going to take, you know, a type of music forward in a way, do it differently, you know, start an initiative that changes that and brings more joy into the industry or something like that. So let's also have a look at the Star Temple Oracle for some sort of starseed, interdimensional energy around this dream, this tilt towards happiness. So the moon star, passion. So that's going back to sort of caring about your passion and what you want in life and pursuing that. And Aethusa, the sun goddess, lift off. Yeah, opening your senses, feeling delicious pleasure and passion. You're definitely on the right path. You are definitely on the right path. The more that you go towards what makes you happy, what ignites your curiosity, what you feel are risks that are worth taking, where you feel confident, the more and more success you're going to have. Like, it is absolutely the right path to follow. Okay, so let's see what other sort of advice we can give. We'll start with some astrology, just astrology energy around you. Then we're going to use the natural world in terms of crystals and chakra energy, your own energy. And then, as I say, we're going to finish off with some angelic energy and finally the Astro Chakra cards for a final message for you. So let's see around astrology energy for you at this point, pile 1. Libra, 2nd house, you're definitely going to make money. 9th house, and have a different philosophy, bring in something different and potentially teach others. Actually, with the 9th house, you might also decide, in following your curiosity and your passion, your happiness, to go and study something. That is possible with that. Maybe study leadership or business to see how you can actually take things forward. But I think you will also have a philosophical impact on others. You're definitely going to align your money making more with your internal values. And there's really good balance to what you do. You're bringing your own life into balance, and I think you will show other people how to do that. So again, it's suggesting you're very much going in the right path. And if there's a part of you that was sort of more conservative and thought, oh, should I really be doing this, or I'm being too much of a gambler, I think Library here says that your mind is very finely tuned. You will bring things into balance. It's not going to disturb your sort of sense of sort of possessions, ownership, money, and you're going to be able to have a solid reason for doing what you do with the 9th house there. Okay, let's look at some crystal chakra affirmations for you. Third eye chakra and heart chakra. You're doing something that you enjoy that's closer to your heart. Third eye chakra is, of course, connection with others telepathically, psychically, and it's about inspiration here with lapis lazuli, inspiration and contact. I am forever in contact with my higher self. So the more that you go towards your joy and your happiness, the more that automatically happens, actually. So I think it's just sort of saying, don't feel you're being self-indulgent. You're doing what you are meant to do. And I am inspired by the world around me. So yes, the natural world, what is beautiful, what is melodic, what is balanced, what is aesthetic, what is true to happiness, what makes you curious, all of that is connected there. And then to your heart chakra, we have emerald, friendship and loyalty. I am loyal to myself and others, and I seek out healthy friendships. Yes, there is something in here. There are some that are still good friendships. That's what you need to determine. And then there are new friendships, I think, coming in that connect more with what your happiness is and your curiosity about the world is. So let's get some angel numbers. And then I'm going to use some other another couple of angel decks that I bring together for what angel energies are around you, and the Astro Chakra deck to also look at the kind of combination of astrology and chakra energy to bring it all together. But first of all, let's get you a couple of angel numbers. So from the winged creatures of the supernatural world, we have discernment and health. Okay, so there's, I mean, I think maybe some of you could be sort of into something that helps with health, mental health, emotional health, all of those sorts of things. Discernment, angel number 7070. Your angels are helping you with understanding and comprehension. Your abilities are improving and you are being acknowledged for them. So I think this is just your angelic energy saying you will have the discernment. The gambling you do will be advised gambling, because it comes from your curiosity and understanding that your filter is what would make you happy, what feels true to you. Then health with angel number 5555. You are being nudged to commit to improving your overall well-being. Consider healthier habits. Doing so will avoid future consequences. So there could be a couple of things here, pile one. Number one, I think it is healthier to go towards happiness and what brings you joy. But it may be that in whatever you were doing before, you got into some unhealthy habits, burnout, overworking, something like that. Or it could even be that sometimes with all that happiness and joy, you overindulge a bit too much in chocolate or whatever is your particular indulgence of choice. So I think, maybe also bring that into moderation, bring that into balance. Okay, so I'm going to lay out a couple of angel cards for other angel energy, and then I'm going to lay out a couple of astro chakra cards, and then I'll bring this together for you. Bullying prevention angel. Angel of solitude. Okay. An astro chakra. Root chakra, being who you are, true to who you are, and the intuition. Again, here we've got the third eye chakra again, so psychic connections. So what I would say is some of what has brought you to this, as I said, something didn't work out, something wasn't right. It may have had to do with bad workplace cultures, bad relationships, things where bullying and not particularly positive energies around relationships occurred. As a result, I think you're determined not to have bullying around you, not to be bullied and not to have it and allow it around you. You can bring in much more healthy sort of relationships, a healthy workplace, whatever it might be. There's something there, and that angel is there to support you in doing that. The angel of solitude suggests that you do need some time out and some contemplation. I think this is connecting to the health thing. It may be that in the pursuit of your curiosity and your happiness that you could burn the candle at both ends on that level when possibly you did it around work or something before. So I think this is saying take some time out sometimes, because you are working on a very strong level around your root chakra here to bring in inspiration with Neptune and to bring the reward of that at who you really are at the base. And it is definitely saying by pursuing your confidence, your sense of happiness and so forth, and your inspiration, you can bring that in. But you are also going to be an inspiration to others. And as a result of it, there is a lot of energy that's going to come to you from other people. You're probably an empath, actually. So with Neptune there as well, there is a need to sort of surrender to that energy, and I think it's sometimes to take time out. So your happiness will not be diminished by sometimes spending time alone, and in fact will probably be increased. But there is an excitement in this energy. It was right from the beginning, and I just think that your spirit guides here are trying to say to you, make sure that you also get rest while you're doing this, because you're going to get very enthusiastic and very joyful. But you need to be able to sustain that over the long haul, because there's something that you're going to share with other people about the pursuit of happiness, and it's going to be very valuable, but you need to make sure you don't exhaust yourself in the process. So pile one, I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe, and if you care to share about it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome pile two to your reading. Hang on for just a second. Let me get the camera angled. It sometimes shifts a bit in between readings. So we have the two cards from the Enchanted Blossoms Oracle. We have the Oracle of the Roses. We have Divine Animals. And then we also have a new Australian Wild Wisdom of Australia deck, which as a proud Aussie I had to get, of course. And together we get a bit of a picture here. I think that you are a very, very responsible person. You are very, very strong. And I think that you have a tendency to feel that you have to carry everything on your own shoulders. And to some degree, that's fine. And to some degree, that is part of your sort of cherished dream or your wildest dreams, is to be the truly autonomous, truly free person who can connect to others when necessary, but really can do it all on their own if they have to. Very, very strong, very, very able to carry things through. And very ambitious and prepared to go the distance with endurance. So your ambition is a very personal one. You're likely to very much want to, run your own business or be a CEO or be, the President of the United States or be, the top ranking sports person or whatever it might be. But there is definitely a sense of doing things on your own, doing things within your own style and being prepared to go the distance. You do not give up. You are not someone who gives up. Part of your nature is very steely and has a great sense of responsibility with the meerkat here. You don't take anything lightly. If anything, you can maybe be a bit too serious sometimes. But having said that, this is part of the grist to your mill. This is part of what takes you where you need to go. What the wild world is trying to gently say here is that there are others who can support you and help you. With the dog totem here, there is companionship. You don't have to fit in with others and you can be the leader, definitely. But others can help you and want to help you. It may be that you're someone who's used to always looking after others and the concept of asking for help is a little bit alien to you. It could be, a family situation. You may be the parent and you may feel that you have all the responsibility, but there's friendship energy around you, or even within your family, there's a kind of companionship that really does want to help you if you listen. With cockatiel here, this is about listening. It's about paying attention to what else is going on. You could be so single-minded and so strong that you don't hear when you actually have people who can help you. And by listening to that, there's a creative inspiration that can come through with the Christmas beetle. There's some easier ways of doing things. Now, this doesn't mean, I do think most people who come here, your wildest dreams, your cherished ambitions, they are pretty big time stuff. And you certainly have the strength and the ability to get there. But you don't have to do it all on your own. It's almost like you feel you had to prove that for some reason. But you'll do most of it on your own. It's just your nature. You're the person who climbs Mount Everest. You're the person who is the first person, to walk on the moon. It's that kind of energy, but nevertheless, you don't have to be quite as alone as you may think that you do. So let's have a look and see with tarot, using an animal-based tarot, what energy is going on at the moment around this ambition and this endurance, the big path, the big dream that you are, I think, well on your way to achieving, but possibly you're just doing a little bit harder than you need to. So let's see what energy Spirit wants to say about that. Okay, it's really interesting, firstly, that we have 4 reverse cards. Reverse cards aren't necessarily bad, but they often are kind of suppressing or dimming the light of the energy of the card involved, or certainly that's the way I read them. What this suggests to me is that, again, it is suggesting there's an easier way to do what you're doing. That's what it's saying here, that you have a lot of caring for what you do. In fact, I think you care a lot for other people. I think part of your sort of endurance and your ambition is to provide for others in some way. And you have a lot of manifestation ability, like off the charts, but it's almost like you don't trust that. You don't trust that, you can just sort of will almost something into being, and you're not really sure about this spiritual stuff as to whether, when it really gets to the serious business of your ambitions, like your spiritual stuff is maybe a bit to the side and so forth. And as a result, you're not putting it into your business planning or your career planning or your ambition planning. You've kind of put that off to the side. And that might even be what you spend time with friends on, like going to readings like this or looking at astrology or things like that. I don't think you're against spiritual stuff. It's just that I don't think that you think it's going to be an ingredient that will help you. But there's something in it. See, we've got the Ace of Wands and the Christmas beetle with creative inspiration. There's something about these energies that you're not looking at on a material level, which could make it easier. Like, it definitely is saying that you have the right stuff to go the distance. There's no doubt about that. But there's almost like a secret ingredient you have, which is around really getting in touch with your spiritual sort of side and not suppressing that, and getting a little bit more in touch with your heart and what it is that the kind of the passion for why you do the things, not just the kind of sense of responsibility that opens up with the Ace of Wands, the inspiration, makes it easier. That's, I think, all that Spirit really wants to talk about. So let's ask what you don't see. Because I think it's already starting to tell us that, but let's see what else Spirit wants to say about what you don't see. Okay, so part of this is that you aren't seeing that you've kind of cut off some of the emotional side of this. It's really like, I think you live with life in compartments. So there's a compartment for whatever this career ambition is. There's a compartment for relationships. There's a compartment for spirituality or whatever. And because they're sort of separated, particularly because the heart energy is separated, you're not seeing how much you're suppressing some of the passion and joy you could have out of what you're doing. It's like it's relentless energy. And as I say, you're very, very good at it. You have far more stamina than most people, but it's not necessarily bringing you joy. It's almost like joy hasn't come into the equation for you for some reason. And as a result, you've been tied up in almost the power struggles associated with things. So the Eight of Swords kind of ties you up intellectually. The Emperor reversed suggests that there are power struggles. And I do think that because you're going to be brilliant at something, maybe more than one thing, but you're certainly going to go the distance. You're going to be a number one at something, I think. That does bring power struggles. So some of this might be Spirit saying being more in touch with your heart and connecting more with people who can support you. There's going to be a point at which that becomes very important. That it's not just the sort of determination, the skill, the being able to do it all on your own. You're going to hit a level of competition where having that connection to others is going to be helpful for you. So let's see what opportunities might be coming up around this for you. Okay, so there's something where you course correct by the looks of things. You separate out from some of what you've been doing. So whether it is that you come to the conclusion, actually, I need to integrate some of these things more. I'm kind of taking the long route when there's actually a shortcut I could take. Or whether it's deciding to leave something that's more traditional and move into something that's a little bit more unusual to strike your path out. That's possible with the Knight of Pentacles reversed. It's also possible that some instability around work or money is actually going to be an opportunity for you to separate out from that which had been slowing you down. Either way, you will be okay financially with the Four of Pentacles there. You're not going to lose the foundation of what you've done. It's not really like you go backwards, but it feels to me like something comes along a little bit out of left field, which maybe you didn't expect, and which means that you separate out from some of your plan and you reconfigure it into something else that you can build from. And I hope, given this energy, that it is finding the people to work with and the inspiration, like what's the joy behind it that you're trying to achieve, not just what are you trying to be really responsible for. And this has a feeling of duty. It has a feeling like, you think you have a duty to do something. It's like being a knight, in an Arthurian court or something, and very much strong, able to do it. But the knights had to connect back to the land and to the heart and to people and so forth, and they had romantic love. So it's sort of just getting those things into balance. Okay, so let's have a look at it a little bit more in the 3D world. Let's look at relationships, career and lifestyle, and then we'll also have a look at some sort of star energy around sort of interdimensional characteristics in astrology. So firstly, relationship energy. Realization, chance. Okay. There's something you're going to decide about. Maybe, the great love's going to walk into your life just when you don't expect it. And it really makes you realize that there's a chance around relationships and things around relationships you didn't see. Or it's a realization that some of your friends and companions and colleagues are actually able to help you at this next stage when there's sort of difficulty and potential reversals that you're going to have to sort of rise above. But either way, something about the chance or opportunity or different approach that can come from relationship and connecting more, you're going to realize something about that. So let's see how it might impact your career. Preparation and promotion. You see, you're definitely on the fast track in whatever it is, like career. As I say, I mean, you could be like this group could be, as I say, like prime athletes. You could be a prima ballerina. You could be sort of an amazing singer. That could be anything, but it could also be like political or in the halls of power. You're definitely stepping up. You need to be prepared for that. This is what this is really saying. It's like you've got a long way by just being so tough and so sure and being able to sort of deal with everything and really doing it on your own, like you really have. But you're moving to another level. You're moving to another level. This is why you need the realization about who do you need with you to take it to that other level. Okay, let's have a look at lifestyle. Pattern. Release here. Because you've got a pattern. You do have a pattern. You do really feel like you've got to kind of do it all yourself. Maybe you came from a family where you had to be mature much earlier than most people. Maybe you were a single parent family and you had to take on some of the role of that. Maybe you had siblings. There's a pattern, or it's at school. You did very well by being very, very rigorous and very kind of conscientious. There's something. There is a pattern that you need to release, and it's got to do with being a loner, I think. Okay, so let's see what the interdimensional realms might want to suggest to you. The Amber Star, let go. I surrender and allow myself to grieve. Okay, so if something happens that has triggered this and releases it, some sort of power issue, some sort of reversal, let it go and allow yourself to grieve, because the reality is it's not going to stop you. You're going to keep moving forward, but it may make you realize the value of other people to your journey. And the ruby star flow, I embody my authentic and sensual essence. I think there might be a personal relationship that's coming in, a romantic relationship. Or if you have put that aside a bit while you're in a relationship but you've just been focused on your career, I feel like you're kind of bringing that together and you're seeing the value of that more than you possibly did before. Let's see some astrology energy around you at the moment, pile 2. Earth, South Node, that's moving away from patterns. And Pisces, yeah, moving towards what's more emotional. What's in this Ace of Cups you've got reversed, like turning that around, moving away from a pattern that was so dogged in a way, so earthy. So what's the material outcome to something that also incorporates the heart? The message is quite clear here. It's not saying that you really did anything wrong. It's just that you're about to level up and you're going to have to broaden your horizons and let the heart in as well too, and let other people in, the right other people, of course. So to help with that, let's have a look at the wisdom of crystal. So another part of the natural material world, and also connecting to chakras, so your own energy centers, for some affirmations for you. Sacral chakra, so sort of creative approach, and root chakra, about who you really are, and having a more creative approach about what you're looking at, the inspiration and so forth, not just the creative inspiration we saw right at the beginning, is going to help you become more who you are. So we have sunstone here, luck and radiance. I project an everlasting radiance, and you do that because you just shine so bright. And I believe that luck is on my side, and I think it is, but it's because you put the work in. But I think what will make you even luckier is the right connections. Root chakra with ruby is spontaneity and motivation. I feel motivated to achieve my goals, and I allow myself to be spontaneous. Yeah, it's the balance. You're as motivated as hell, pal, too. Like, really, you are like machines. But also be spontaneous. Also let the creativity in. Also let the sort of input of other people in when it's the right people to let in. Let's get you some angel numbers. So we're now moving to the winged creatures of the supernatural realm. Discernment and self-care. Yeah, you do need to do a little bit around self-care. And this is all very much around the sort of spiritual sort of realms, and to some degree the throat chakra with that sort of blue colouring as well. So discernment number, angel number 7070, is your angels are helping you with understanding and comprehension. Your abilities are improving and you are being acknowledged for them. Yes, you are. You're moving up the ladder, definitely. If it hasn't happened yet, it's coming. And you've put in the work, you definitely have, but now you need to bring in discernment as well and a bit of self-care, 722. You're being called to take time for yourself, tune into your body, that sensual energy, and your desires and your feelings. Yeah, you've kind of shelved them a bit because you've been really focused on duty and outcomes. So to bring it all together, I'm going to draw a couple of other angel cards for other angel energy around you, and then a couple of astro chakra cards, and then we'll look at what that says in combination to close out the reading, pile 2. Angel of gratitude. Angel of power, yeah. You're definitely in the world of power. You're very powerful in what you do. There's no doubt about that. That's why you need to sort of get this in balance. Communication, the throat chakra. Yeah, there's something about what you need to speak and say, definitely. And spirituality. That's the combination of those. Those two colours is like blue and purple together, spirituality. So what's coming through from the crown chakra, what's coming through spiritually. So gratitude for where you have come. And I think gratitude opens the door to connecting with other people, because if you think about it, a little bit of tough love here, part 2. When you are very dogged and very responsible and everything, there is a kind of a almost grim pride that you can take from that. Like, I've done it all on my own, I've endured and everything. And it's true. Like, I'm not trying to take any of that away from you. But there is also a bit of an easier path connecting with those who are the right people, and that gratitude for where you've come. It's not all self-directed. You will be successful. There's no doubt about that. And 95% at least of it is going to be just your determination, your ambition, your drive, your preparedness, your responsibility, your conscientiousness. But there is a higher level that you can go to and reach if you connect with others and having the gratitude about what they can bring to the table. It unlocks the angel of power. And that's all about communication on a higher level, the spiritual level with the crown chakra here with Pluto, transforming so you rise. You are meant to rise. There is no two ways about it. And communication, being able to voice your feelings as you do it, because that's the key. Like, the people coming to this reading, you've come to the right reading. You are going to be really, really top in a field. Whatever the field is that you're choosing, you're going to be top tier, definitely. But you will be even more powerful and shine more brightly if you do get that balance with communication with others and know how to sort of draw on that creative inspiration, as well as your inordinately strong constitution for all of this. So I hope that helps you, pile 2. I haven't really come across that energy quite this strongly before in a reading, so I'm really, really hoping this message gets across, because this is a group of self-starters. This is a group of successful people. But all I think that the natural world is trying to say to you now is how to be even more successful and how to enjoy it while you're doing it. So I hope it resonates. I hope you did enjoy the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. And if you care to share in the comments, I'd be fascinated to hear about this. But otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So these are the 2 Enchanted Blossom cards. We have the Oracle of the Roses, we have Divine Animals, and we also have a new deck about the wild wisdom of Australia, which as a proud Aussie I had to get, obviously. So what's interesting about this is the card that drew you here, potentially, depending on how it is that you choose decks, is about love. And so one might have expected this to be about relationship, and it could be. But I actually think it's love on a much higher level that we're talking about here, because we have spiritual leader here with emu, we have transformation with sea otter, we have thoughtfulness and the hero here, and then we also have individuality connected to love and moderation. I think the people who have come to this reading are meant to be spiritual leaders in one form or another, or spiritual heroes, people who really help others come into transforming themselves in a moderate, thoughtful way that is positive, with love and with caring, and in a way that really supports individuality. So this could be anything from being a spiritual leader in some way, being a master of some form of spiritual practice and teaching others, through to doing work like this and helping people see who they are and that kind of thing, through to being a teacher of some form or a mentor or something, but bringing in a kind of sense of the spiritual and that side of things, and then the power of love to create people in what they could be. And in doing it, you do create yourself. There is something heroic about this. You do want to have made a mark in this world. You don't want to sort of be at the end of your life and think, well, you know, I had a nice time and a nice house and a nice family, but, you know, I didn't really shift things or change things or transform things or help people. There's a very much a sense here of wanting to help others, of really caring about others and their transformation and individuality. There's a strong diversity and inclusion feeling about this too. So some of you may take a kind of spiritual view about that and put it in a very political or social framework. But whatever it is, your wildest dream, your cherished dream is about being their hero and taking people through change and supporting them and being the sort of person that songs are sung about, or that people sort of look to as almost gurus after they've gone, or as icons of something like a Gandhi, you know, or a Mother Teresa. And I'm not saying you have to be any of those specifically. I'm just trying to use examples of people who the mythos of them, because of what they brought spiritually and in terms of caring to the world, is probably greater than who they were as an individual. It becomes emblematic. So there's something about that for you in whatever way that you do it. And it's a really lovely energy, I have to say. I really feel like it's a beautiful balance, because there's the thoughtfulness and the moderation. There's the love, the general love for other people. But then there's also the sense of like the heroic path to be the individual, to transform, to do that, and to be a spiritual leader. So I just think it's a lovely energy. Let's have a look at what Tarot wants to tell us right now about how that's playing out in your life at the moment. And we're going to use another animal-based deck for this. Okay, there's definitely something in a business that you do, or education, or something like that, or, you know, spiritual leader, as I say. But you are definitely on a mission, and you are going to have a business or make money out of it or be very well known for it. Absolutely. Your generosity of spirit with the Six of Pentacles, you really do want others to. It's not just a selfish, I want to be the hero and transform and, you know, like have my name in lights. This is really, you genuinely want to help other people, because you've seen things that you think are not right. You've seen a bad, inequitable sort of sharing of resources potentially, or something where people were not all able to really manifest who they were, be their own individuality or whatever, because of the requirements of the world and the structures and the powers of the world, and judgments that weren't fair. I definitely get a sense, and power struggles that aren't fair. There are people here, it's going to be around politics, it's going to be around social justice, it's going to be around those sort of things potentially. It's about really trying to move the cause forward and transform a world that is very preferential and a world that is power-based and often quite heartless into something that is more balanced and so forth. You also are going to help other people make decisions about who they want to be in a very material way. People who haven't felt able to do that, people who haven't felt that they could express themselves. And you understand the powers of the world. You know how to operate in a very authentic way. You also know when you are dealing with a lack of authenticity. That's why you know the moderation that you need. Transformation can't all happen just like that. It has to be done in a moderate and thoughtful way, because the environments that you're in are not easy. But there's definitely something, that's spiritual, it comes from a spiritual base, but it's very material. You are going to make a difference, definitely. You're meant to, you're here to do that, pile 3. Okay, so let's have a look at what you don't realise at the moment. And it does come from love, but it's your love for people as a whole. And it's your spiritual love here that we're talking about. Okay, so there's something in your immediate environment at the moment where information still has to come out. So I think that you are looking at a battle, you are looking at a transformation, and right now there's some stuff hidden with the High Priestess reversed, however it's going to come out. So that's definitely there. I think it's saying, that's why Judgment is reversed there as well too. It's saying there are certain things you shouldn't make a decision on yet. There is more information to come. When you get that information, then you can start to set a plan in place. Don't do it yet. So I feel like you're champing at the bit to deal with a cause or something like that. But there is more to come out in the situation that you're in. And so Spirit is just saying you will have your time. You will be able to do this. But to be truly able to do it in a thoughtful and moderate way, you need a little bit more information. It's also saying that you suppress your own spirituality a bit. You're very much a spiritual leader potentially, and you love on that kind of level, but for some reason you don't trust your own instincts around this. It's more that you kind of would listen to other sort of spiritual leaders or whatever. So some of this is going to make you realize who you actually are. Okay, so let's look at what opportunity is going to come from this for you. Lovely. Okay, so temperance, moderation, balance, thoughtfulness, and King of Cups, you coming into who you are. You're a kind of combination of King of Cups and King of Pentacles. It's not about gender. It doesn't matter what gender you are or identify with. This is an energy of emotional authenticity and maturity and, emotional authenticity and maturity here, and also material understanding. You understand who you are in the world. You understand how to make things happen materially. You can bring those things into balance. There is going to be an opportunity to do that. And there is going to be an opportunity to step out and be the hero, which you haven't yet been able to do by the looks of things with the Seven of Wands reversed. I think it's more that you've had to hold yourself back because you've known you don't have enough information, because you're naturally heroic, but it's held back some of your energy. But there is an opportunity to come in. It feels like a negotiation or something like that to bring about a better and more balanced outcome. And then many things, I think, will flow from that in terms of what you want to do with your life and with these abilities that you have, which are rather rare. Okay, so let's see on a more kind of pragmatic level what this means around relationship, career, lifestyle. Then we'll sort of move into some star interdimensional type information for you as well. So with relationships, judgment again. So there's judgment operating and assertive. Something's going to happen around relationship. And I mean, it could be around a love relationship where you actually go in and you're the hero for the person. I mean, that may be the connection to love if you came here about a relationship. You may either start a relationship because you become the hero and the person who stands up for or defends someone. You could be a lawyer defending somebody in a legal case. You could be a union delegate, protecting somebody in a workplace dispute or something like that. So there's something there. There's something about judgment around relationships and asserting. It makes you assert your energy and so forth. It is important to use good judgment, though, in moderation, and to wait till you have all the information. Let's see with career. Preparation. Approval. Okay, so this is the preparation I think we're saying. It's like waiting for the right information, getting the right information together, and then that Page of Pentacles, turning that around and actually having a business plan or a strategy for what you do. This is where you get the thoughtfulness and the moderation, not just going in as the hero, but being really, really ready. And then you will get the approval. You will get the outcome that you want. It's sort of, there is a game about this on some level. Whether it's in a spiritual group or workplace, whatever it is, there is a kind of a game. There are rules of engagement, and you just need a little bit more information to be able to do that and do it in a way that is likely to succeed because it is accepted, it is approved as a way of dealing with these issues. So again, I think of something like, a union delegate who knows how and when to have the discussions and negotiations, when to mediate, when to conciliate, when to strike, whatever it might be. Okay, let's have a look at lifestyle. Irritability, initiative. Okay, so I think sometimes when you can't immediately rush in and deal with it all, it might make you a bit irritable sometimes. I think it's irritability. It's actually triggering you to be this hero, to be frank. It makes me think of the pearl that comes from an oyster, when the grit is there. It's the grit in the oyster, and the oyster gets irritated and creates the pearl. So I think in this case, it's like the things that get under your skin and irritate you are the things that you need to transform, and then you bring this energy into being. You take initiative as a result. So you're not someone who sits and whines and and throws rocks from the bleachers, or just does a Twitter storm every once in a while. You're someone who actually really does take the initiative. But you do know sometimes you have to wait for the right information, so it can be a little bit frustrating at times. Okay, let's have a look at some interdimensional energy and then some astrological energy for you. The Oracle, okay, so you've got oracular ability. And the Huntress on the quest. Okay, yeah, this is you, all right. So the Oracle forecast. I am the Oracle. My intuitive insights flow freely. Don't suppress your High Priestess reversed. You actually do have a very strong psychic connection. You will get information that way. Pay attention to that, because that helps you on your quest, because there is a quest to you. You're a hero. So the Pleiades light my quest to be wild and free. So this is all about your wildest dreams, your cherished dreams and so forth. So there is a kind of sense of like being on the hunt, being on a quest, being the hero, but don't forget that you're getting information at a kind of spiritual level. Let's see what astrology can tell you. First house. Full moon, Virgo. Yeah, so this is meant to be a business or something for you, or you're meant to be very good in your career or in a business environment, or you're meant to have a spiritual business or something like that. Virgo is bringing it into material reality. Full moon is also about the harvest, bringing in the outcomes of this. It is also reap what you sow, and that's why it's really good that you're thoughtful and moderate and that you take the time to get the information, because if you just went on at it like a bull at a gate, then wouldn't get you the best outcome. So you know to do that. But you're going to be known for it, the first house. You're not sort of someone to be in the shadows. You're known. Heroes are known. So that's definitely going to be true of you. Let's get some information for you from the crystals. Crystals is another part of the natural world, and also connecting to your chakras. So the crystal energy connecting to your inner energy. See what Spirit wants to talk about there. Solar plexus chakra, so yes, who you are in the world, and sacral chakra, what you create in the world. So you are your own creation in many ways. The solar plexus chakra with sunshine aura quartz is about rejuvenation and expansion. I choose to expand my perspective, and I take time to rejuvenate my energy. So while you're connecting to your oracular ability and while you are getting the information that you want, I think this is really just a gentle nudge to have some moderation in your own life too and get some rest, because you'll then move into your creative problem-solving phase with tangerine quartz, with curiosity and playfulness. I honour my inner child by being playful, and I always feed my curiosity. So always look at this as a problem to be solved. Always sort of look at it as a curious thing to deal with, because you are more than up to it. You don't need to feel that you aren't ready for the hero quest, but looking at it in that way and as a creative problem to solve will help you. Okay, let's get some angel numbers. So winged creatures from the celestial realms for you, as well as some of the winged creatures and other natural creatures on Earth that we've been connecting in with. We have grounding and forgiveness. Okay, so grounding, angel number 2365. Your angels are urging you to work on grounding yourself, which will improve your mood, health, energy, and sleeping habits. So yes, there's something in this about don't overtax yourself. Make sure you look after yourself too. And forgiveness, angel 917, you are being asked to make peace by accepting actions of others. Heal with forgiveness. So this is the thoughtful and the love and so forth. I think you are going to be dealing with, power issues. You're going to be dealing with a whole range of things, and part of the energy of finding that moderation and coming to conciliation in whatever way this makes sense for you will be also about forgiving energy. Not everyone is a spiritual leader in the sense that you are, and I think that for the hero to exist there has to be a quest, and that means that people have human frailty, so being able to forgive is important. Okay, so to wrap this up, I'm going to draw from another deck a couple of other angels to watch over you that are connecting with you at the moment, and a couple of Astro Chakra cards. Angel of Families. Angel of Truth, okay. The Astro Chakra cards are the root chakra, who you are, the base of work, and creativity. Again, like creativity is important to this. Creativity, playfulness, so forth. Angel of families may suggest that this is a family tradition to do this, or it may be in fact that you are fighting for causes to help your family, your immediate or your extended family. It may also be that it is about finding your soul tribe. Angel of truth is really who you are. This is the hero's quest. It is towards truth, it is towards forgiveness, it is towards thoughtfulness and moderation and transformation and love ultimately. With these two, we have Mercury in the first chakra, the root chakra. So that is communicating what the basic needs are. I feel that is you, once you have the information, communicating the basic needs of transformation to solve whatever this problem is. But it's also important for you to communicate some of your basic needs, because the hero sometimes is expected to just keep on keeping on without the support. So you need to find support too. And then in the creative outcomes, the creative way you approach this, you find your inner self with the sun in the sacral chakra. So creativity has got something to do with this. You know, creative, you may literally do it as a story of a hero's quest that is incredibly powerful for people and incredibly illuminating. Or it may be, as I say, creative problem solving. Either way, you bring in a really lovely balance of the understanding of the environment and love and caring and forgiveness and moderation. So I hope that you enjoyed that reading, Pile 3. I hope it resonates. We need people like you, so I really hope it resonates. And if you did enjoy the reading, please like the video and subscribe. And if you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 4, to your reading. So these two cards are from the Enchanted Blossoms. This is the one that was bringing you to this reading potentially. Then we have the Oracle of the Roses, the Divine Animals Oracle, and then also a new oracle I have about wild wisdom of Australia, which as an Australian I really had to get and include in this. So the energy here is interesting because it's a bit like another reading where the first card might have suggested one particular thing, but when we see all of the energy together, it's actually a little bit different to that. It still could lead to abundance as being something that you're trying to bring into your life, definitely. But there's some real issues here about working out what that is and how abundance and success fits with your inner happiness and with a battle that you are waging, either with others or within yourself. And I suspect it has to do with something from childhood family patterns. We have Bull here to help with sacrifice and deciding what you do and don't keep in your life. We have Wombat, which talks about inner child. We have Hare, which talks about cycles. And then we seem to have a concept of what would be abundance and happiness with a warrior in the middle and with the wedge-tailed eagle talking about the higher realms. So I feel as though the people who've come to this, there's stuff from your childhood, I would say, or certainly early in your life, either in your family, around school, or something like that, where you felt you had to fight for every bit of abundance and happiness that you could get. And that there are only certain times when you could actually expand and grow, and other times where you were required to sacrifice and so forth. And that really made you connect a lot to the divine as opposed to the 3D world. There was a sort of a solace. I would say that you had very strong spirit guides and you connected to that, and that they created this inner warrior. Like, I will not be broken, I will not be beaten by this world. It's not what I wanted it to be. It's hard. My childhood was hard. Achieving things is hard. But I will still fight for my happiness, even if that is difficult. And even if people told me I shouldn't have it, or that, you know, I'd have my turn eventually, but not right now. There's an energy around that. So I think that what the wild world wants to talk to you about is getting in touch with abundance and happiness that is more about going with the flow and connecting with the higher realms than it is about battles that should be put into the past in some way. So let's have a look with another animal tarot deck about what the kind of energy is around this right now. Okay, this would suggest that you've definitely dealt with and may still be dealing with to some degree and manifesting in your life issues with authority. with the Emperor reversed and then also the King of Swords sort of like bookmarking this particular row. I think you may have had a difficult relationship with a parental figure, probably the father, but it doesn't have to be, because it doesn't have to be gender-based. But whoever it was used a lot of mental mind games to control in one way or another. And so you see a pattern of that in wherever there is the opportunity to make money, abundance, have success. You think there's a price to pay, a sacrifice that comes from the people who hold the keys to the kingdom. And the issue for you, I think, is that with this warrior spirit going in, you can create that sort of thing. Because your connection to the higher realms, you can actually create it by just expecting it. What the natural world here and your spirit guides are asking you to do is have a different perspective about this, to go within and start to heal some of the inner child issues and let that go. Know that that is really more of a thing of a past, to allow your own creative energy and passion to come forward. It's like you have an expectation that you are always going to have to battle for any kind of recognition or to be seen in any way. And Spirit is saying that's not the case, that in fact some of that sort of higher realms connection and the sort of really good sense of timing you have could bring in the happiness, could bring in the abundance, but you need to let go of whatever this thing was where you felt you were constantly in a battle, that it creates the battle in a way. And in fact, a different perspective and going within, there's so much energy that you could bring forward. What happened to you was not fair. Now, whether this was in childhood or whether it's something more recently, it'll depend on who's coming here. But something unfair happened to you. There's no doubt about that. And it was about putting you down so that other people could rise or something like that. So it just feels like, things in families or things in workplaces or things at school. But it's in the past. But you do need to heal with the Four of Swords here and with Wombat, the inner child, because you were hurt by it. And so while you are trying to be abundant and happy, you sort of feel like it's always such a price associated with it. So let's see what you're not seeing at the moment. The Tower. Queen of Swords. Okay, I think what it's saying is that your capacity to cut off this sort of negative energy, to just completely obliterate it for good, you're not seeing how easily you could actually do that. Instead of really understanding what that is and letting it fall away, you're going inside and critiquing yourself and staying always restless and worried because of it. But that transformative energy is there. It's time to let that go. It's time to heal the inner child. Then you can turn the Six of Swords around and move into happiness and so forth with the Ace of Wands. Like, it is possible. It's all within your own intellectual ability to do this. And to understand that cycle is done, just let it go. Understand the power of your mind, because part of the reason that you had this happen to you was that I think people were threatened by you. Understanding that, and understanding that your warrior energy can be sublimated into something that brings you more happiness with the same degree of power, the same degree of really acute seeing things and being able to speak your truth and so forth. In fact, you were probably a truth seeker and a truth speaker in your family where maybe that wasn't welcomed, I would say. Let's have a look at what opportunities there are for you right now. Okay, it's all saying the same thing. It's saying you can now let go of all that anxiety. You can break through it with the Tower there. With a different perspective, breaks through and breaks down all that anxiety. It is within your power. It is within your grasp. But you do need to come out of emotional patterns that were not helpful. Go more within and heal the inner child. And you do need to think about what would it be to be creatively who you wanted and to be recognised. You've been so busy battling, you haven't really articulated to yourself what it would be to be creatively recognised and seen and free. So you have an opportunity to do that now just by understanding this pattern and letting some of that go. And I'm getting, for some of you, it might be good to go and sort of see someone, a therapist or a counsellor or something like that, because there's a lot of stuff. You've been through a lot. I'm feeling it very, very strongly here. If you've come to the right reading, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I just feel like letting that go, you have a real opportunity to let that go and to turn all of this to your advantage, just by realising that the power, that that warrior spirit that was born in you when you were a child and you've had to carry all this life, That is so strong and so clever, and turning it to your advantage brings in the happiness, brings in the better cycles and so forth. So let's see some of the material side of this. We're going to look at relationships, career and lifestyle first. So firstly, relationships. Blinded. Yeah, you've been blinded. You've been... but you've got love from beyond. So there's spirit guides with you. Spirit guides, maybe even ancestors, those who see these patterns, those who want to help you heal are with you, definitely. And potentially you could bring in, something like a divine union or something with that sort of a card. But you have been blinded. You have to take the blinkers off. You have to see what happened to you, accept what happened to you, accept it wasn't fair, accept you don't need to battle all the time, and understand that it happened because you were so strong and so clever, so that you can move forward. And that also allows you to have better relationships as well, not ones that replicate this power and critical imbalance. Let's have a look at career for you. Procrastination, reduction. Okay, so maybe you do too much work to try and see everything as a battle. You have to be the warrior, and you procrastinate on dealing with the core issue because you're always having to deal with so much stuff around your work and your career. So maybe trying to reduce some of the expectations upon yourself, trying to get a better work-life balance, all of those sort of things allows you the time to go within and deal with this, because otherwise you're always chasing your tail, and I think it's coming out around career or business for you. Let's have a look at lifestyle. Projecting, momentum. Okay, so I think the only thing that you're projecting is projecting this pattern keeps happening. It's not, I don't think you're projecting yourself on anyone else, but I think part of the pattern that you've dealt with and that has caused you to feel you always had to sacrifice is people projecting stuff on you. So it does happen to people like you. Once you realize that and you don't allow the projection anymore, you get the momentum that you need. This is why the core thing is to understand why this happened. It's not because you were lesser, it's the exact opposite. And when you understand that it's because you were stronger, you were smarter, you saw the truth more than these whatever scenarios you were in, then you stop taking on those judgments and so forth. You stop being blinded and you get the momentum to move forward. Okay, let's have a look at some interdimensional star seedy type advice for you. A little star. See, this is the inner child and the awakener. Yeah. So when you get to Kaliano, the little star divine, my inner child is whole and complete. When you get to that, you then become the awakener. You rise out of the ashes. I rise like the golden sun. Exactly. That's why this happened to you. You threatened people, but you're not that sort of person. You're not going to become them either if that's what you're worried about. You will rise and be more true to yourself and go towards the happiness and the abundance that you deserve once you sort of heal this pattern from really early in your life. Okay, so let's have a look at some astrology energy around you at the moment. The sun, yeah, you're meant to shine. The second house, you're meant to have money and do well and align what you're doing with your values. And Uranus, you're meant to change. You're meant to escape. You're meant to get the freedom that's necessary. So your life path is about freeing itself from whatever this pattern was from when you were young. And when you do that, you're really going to start to get the abundance that you're looking for. That's the key. Okay, so let's get some crystal chakra energy for you as well. So from the natural world, we're looking here about crystal energy and then connecting it to your energy centers in terms of chakras. Root chakra, yeah, it's about who you are at your core. And throat chakra and how you can speak your truth. And you probably always did speak your truth, but now you need to understand the impact of that and how to do it in a way that works for you. With the root chakra here we have ruby, which is about spontaneity and motivation. It says, I feel motivated to achieve my goals and I allow myself to be spontaneous. So yes, don't get caught in old patterns. Don't feel it always has to be a battle. You have a lot to bring to the table. And then with the throat chakra with aquamarine, sensitivity and closure, I create my own closure. Yeah, the closure on whatever this was. And I honour my sensitivity. There's nothing wrong with having felt it. It's just understanding it for what it is so that your inner child can heal, so that you can move towards your sort of abundance and happiness and so forth. Okay, so let's get you some angel numbers. So winged creatures from the celestial realms as opposed to the natural world. Symbiosis and belief. Okay, so angel 1010. Your angels are helping you improve your close relationships with trust, communication, honesty, and healthy boundaries. So you are going to have good relationships at the end of this. This is just being able to really understand what are the healthy ones and let go of the ones that aren't. And some of that's about belief, self-belief, amongst other things. Angel 222. Your angels are encouraging belief in you. Consider mastering your strength, willpower, and confidence. Yes, because it's there. That's what brought this to you. That's what people try to make you sacrifice, but actually own it and use it for yourself. Okay, so to close out, I'm going to use another deck to pull 2 angel cards, so other angels that are around you, and then also 2 astro chakra cards to bring all the messages together for you. Angel of clairsentience, okay. Angel of travel, all right. Throat chakra doesn't surprise me. And the crown chakra connecting to your spirituality. Okay, so firstly, the angel of clairsentience makes sense when we get a crown chakra thing here. This is one of the clear senses, which is the sort of clear feeling. So going into your feelings, going into that inner child, understanding. This is why you knew you were wise beyond your years when you were young. And it's probably been a pattern throughout your life. You can probably sense the energy in a room. You can sense the energy going on. You can see the power, almost like literally feel it in your body. And I think also there's a bit of clairvoyance with you. I think that you see it like with colours and energy waves and so forth, I'm getting. So there's something there about making sure that you more and more connect to that, to heal your inner child and to see what truth you have and that what you did was right. You didn't do anything wrong. An angel of travel, you may travel a bit with all of this. It might literally be about that, but it might also be astral travel. It might be traveling to the realms of your dreams and allowing yourself to believe in those maybe for the first time. So I think that angel is there to bring movement and momentum to what you want to do. Communication, so how you communicate with others, with the throat chakra, with the sun. There is something about you that is a truth teller. I've been picking it up over and over through this reading, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's using it in the right environments and not letting people project on you. And what will help you with that is the inspiration from Neptune in your crown chakra, your spiritual beliefs, what really matters to you. Look to that. Look to spiritual beliefs about growth and love and abundance and happiness and the cycles of time, not to whatever this kind of almost mental programming that was put into you when you were young. That's all you really need to do, Pile 4. There's enormous potential for you and enormous healing to come as well. But you've been through a lot, and it's time to put down the warrior side of things and become more, be a truth teller, a warrior like that, but do it in a way that brings you abundance and happiness and connection and the right sort of relationships and so forth. Not always just butting up against sort of illegitimate power in some way. And you'll do that if you heal your inner child. So you may want to go and get sort of therapy or support for doing this potentially, depending upon how deep it goes. I do hope you enjoyed that. It was probably a bit of a heavy reading, but there's an enormous amount of hope in this because there's an enormous amount of potential in you, Pile 4, and I hope that it really does help and it brings you into alignment with what will make you happy and abundant, because that's what you deserve. You don't deserve what you've been through. I hope it does sort of liberate you and give you some aha moments, and I hope you did enjoy it as much as you can, a message like that. And if so, please like the video and subscribe, and if you care to share about it in the comments, by all means do so. It's fairly sensitive, this stuff, so I'd understand if people for Pile 4 didn't want to share, but equally if you do, or just sort of say that it resonated and was helpful, it would be wonderful to hear. Other than that, I hope to see you in future readings.